Hey, what is going on, everybody? So we got another roster review today, and this time it is for Yokk. I think I'm saying that right, but let me know if I'm not. I also want to point out that this might be one of the larger spender accounts that I have reviewed so far in this series, so we'll get to see what money gets for you, and I'll reveal how much exactly very soon after we start. So without further ado, let's get this review started. Okay, so some notes about Yokk. He has spent a fair bit of money, take all of this with a grain of salt. According to him, he has spent about almost $4,000 to date, which is about 250 days played or so. He has a focus on widening his roster, and I believe he's even finished Dark Dimension 3, the first run as well, and is beginning to use that gear slowly on building up the Black Order higher for Arena. So we are going to go through the roster pages with that in mind, and consider other characters to be built up to create more teams better than whether that's for Blitz or War. Most likely I'll be taking higher red stars into consideration for this, since it's the better bang for your buck, so to speak, in terms of getting power out of the character. So looking at this, we do have 3.7 million TCP, about 470k strongest team power, although this is the arena team here. Black Bolt, Phoenix, Ebony Maw, Hela, and Emma Frost. This is quite impressive, actually, for the amount of days played. And those are all the major meta characters, other than Hela, probably could be replaced with Colossus, possibly, to make it better with the Phoenix Colossus combo. All-time arena rank 1, so yeah, quite impressive. So let's move on to the roster and see what we got. So I'm actually going to start the other way around. I'm going to start from the bottom, actually, and work my way up. That way I can see who's been unlocked, who hasn't, and who's basically hasn't been worked on, and that way I can suggest that rather than, looking at the top down. So this is, I think, from the bottom here. So we see that at the bottom we do have those extra characters from this patch, Longshot and Shatterstar. Now I do want to point out that these characters are very strong, so I've started to work on them myself. I can't actually see the red stars for Longshot, but I can see a 3 red Shatterstar. I still would actually highly recommend building up these characters in preparation for the X Factor full team, if you do have the mutant resources available to do so. I'm currently sitting on my characters at level 65 for both of them, with gear tier 12 actually, just waiting for the other X Factor characters, but maybe not everyone's in my position to be able to do that. I do see Swarm and Electro, and Doc Ock isn't unlocked yet, so hopefully you'll get a chance to unlock Doc Ock coming around pretty soon. I'm pretty sure in the next week or two, and you're going to need Swarm and Electro. Now the only problem with that, of course, is that they're both bio, Swarm and Electro, so it's a lot of bio gear, especially on the back of the symbiotes, who also required a lot of bio gear for that as well. And scrolling up a bit further, Ghost, definitely a character I would recommend building for Dark Dimension 4. I don't know if at this point in the time that you've cleared the second run for Dark Dimension 3, and maybe you don't need Ghost for that, but definitely someone that you want to consider for Dark Dimension 4. She is a better, stronger choice, and a lot of people are using them, including myself, who I'm going to be taking Ghost up for Dark Dimension 4 to gear tier 15. Mine's currently sitting at 14. Unfortunately, again, only a 3-star, 2 red star. Maybe you could purchase that 3 red, and maybe by the time you get around to Dark Dimension 4 that she might be farmable, maybe, but who knows, we'll see. Scrolling up through the list, I don't see 5 red Winter Soldier, but now the 4 red Squirrel Girl, 6-star Squirrel Girl, looks like, oh, sorry, maybe I need to zoom in a bit more here. Let's get that zoomed in a bit. Looks like that you've been farming her up, so looks like you're probably through Doom War, at least chapter 2, by the looks of things, because that's 6 yellow Squirrel Girl, which is quite impressive, even though, the Young Avengers isn't really a super strong team yet, but that's something to keep an eye out for. Other characters that might pop out, nothing really of huge significance for red stars. I would recommend building up Power Armor as a tech team, because they are actually quite good for Blitz and War, particularly in War. They're still a very strong, solid team, taking out Iron Man and using Ultron instead on the offense. You can punch up quite well against characters like the Marauders, the Emma Marauders team. So that might be one avenue. War Machine and Falcon here, Rescue. They're all kind of on the low side, so maybe bringing them up a little bit further for the Power Armor, that might be good there. I think that's all that I currently see on this page here, other than Ghost, Shatterstar Longshot, and then the Doc Ock Sinister Six combo here I think might need to be considered. Let's move on to the other page here. Let's start from the bottom again. So again, this is a continuation from the previous page. Red Skull, you might want to consider Red Skull in combination with the Baron Zemo offensive team. Did I see... Yeah, a lot of the Hydra characters are on the bottom, so I don't see you using them as part of the Hydra minion team. So I would definitely recommend using Red Skull on the offense with Baron Zemo. Still a very strong choice there. Let's see, going up a little bit further. 5 red Daredevil. That's interesting. Nothing too big here. Domino, of course, you got the stars needed, it looks like, for Doc Ock, so I imagine that you're probably going to be working on that soon. Sorry, I had to take a drink there. Blob, definitely, you know, I really love Brotherhood 2.0, so that is a very strong, solid team if you want to build up another war team. Brotherhood 2.0 with Toad and Blob. I haven't... Oh, Magneto's right here, actually. So, definitely another set of characters if you can afford the mutant gear. Now, this is the problem because a lot of the better characters are either bio or mutant. A lot of the sort of more meta characters right now. And that's a lot of gear. And while I can't really recommend an order for you to do so, I know there's a lot of strong characters in these two gear categories. So take that with a pinch of salt as well. But again, another really solid team, Brotherhood 2.0. And then I see Strife here as well. That's something that you might want to consider for the Emma Marauders team. Strife is really, really solid and important for the Marauders. The higher the Strife, the harder it is to get through. Definitely a character that I would actually probably consider Strife more than these other characters. So build up Strife as a higher priority for mutant characters. I think that'll be really good. I haven't seen, you know, things like Sinister or Emma Frost, so I imagine I saw your actual Emma Frost on your arena page. So yeah, definitely get Strife up there so that you can use them on the defense. That will add an extra team for your Alliance War and also for Blitz as well, I guess. Going up, we do have a 5 red Cable. That's pretty good. That's probably from the milestone event from the summer or whenever it was that they had a 5 red Cable as part of the milestones reward. Maybe that's where you got it there. So X-Force is definitely another very strong offensive war team and something I would recommend. So I see Cable and Negasonic here. Unfortunately, again, more mutant gear, but very solid when it comes to the type of teams that they can take out. So I see Deadpool, Cable, and Negasonic all on the same page here. X-23 is actually right up here too. And then Domino was a bit further down. So I would consider bringing them up, but once again, oh, I hate saying it, but it's just so much mutant gear. Hopefully moving into 2021, you know, now we're going to start to see more of other types of gear, and so that these can be sort of I don't know, people can start doing this more when this stops being a huge priority. But yeah, X-Force is a very strong team, so think about that. Taskmaster, you know, actually I don't know if he is a good... Taskmaster Mercs are still a really good war defensive team, but I don't know if it's a huge priority right at this second anymore, but that's really entirely up to you. I see a 5 red X-23 actually, so yeah, I would definitely get on that X-Force offense here. Would go really well with that 5 red Cable that you have. Unfortunately, the Deadpool and Negasonic, they're okay, but yeah, these 5 here, really, really good, so definitely recommend that. I think that's all here. I do see Shuri up here. Surprised she's not a little bit higher up, but I mean, if she's not a huge priority for you, then, you know, don't bother too much, I guess. So let's move on to this first page here. And let's start from the bottom again. So we start here or so. Mordo, maybe the Supernatural team might be a team that you might want to consider into the future if they release characters like Blade or Morbius or some other characters that might be related to the Supernatural team. You know, keep an eye out for characters like that. I haven't seen Ghost Rider yet, so I assume he's a bit higher up here maybe. Black Order, definitely something you want to consider getting them up further. You did say that you cleared Dark Dimension 3 for the first time, so something I would watch out for there, making sure to get all of your Black Order to as high as possible, and then actually there's Ghost Rider there too. So yeah, making sure that your Black Order is as high as they possibly can together, and especially if you're using them on war defense or on warrior offense, depends on where you want to put them. If you put them on defense, you know, when you lose one, it kind of all falls apart, so they all need to be as high as they possibly can. Other than that, I would just recommend using Black Order in war, probably on offense if you need to, if they're not all balanced out. Baron Zemo, I see here, very strong character, 6 red stars, wow, that's really good. Definitely consider using Red Skull alongside Baron Zemo and the other characters. They'd be really good together. But Baron Zemo can actually just be copy and pasted into any war team to some degree and be really good and help them clear things out there. So yeah, very strong character. Bring them up a little bit more as well if you need to for war. Super solid character. The rest of your Black Order is kind of around here as well. Definitely the same thing that I said about Proxima. Just work on them slowly as you can and try to bring them up all together if you can. Scream, another member of the symbiotes. Definitely recommend this. Now we're getting into bio-heavy territory, of course, with the symbiotes, just like I talked about with the mutant characters, but yeah, if you can do something with them, then all the better there. Inhumans, entirely up to you. I personally recommend a higher geared symbiotes than Inhumans at this point, as long as your Inhumans are geared up enough just to get through the Ebony Maw events. I haven't seen if you're 7-star yet or not. And working our way up further, this is kind of to your maximum characters here. All really solid characters. We have Thorn Heimdall with some decent red stars here. Ultron, Minerva, Mr. Sinister, Phoenix, Anti-Venom, Emma Frost, Carnage, Colossus, Hela, Thanos, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Ebony Maw, and Black Bolt. All of these are very solid meta characters. Anti-Venom 14, Carnage 14, Symbiote, Spider-Man 14. Work on your other two symbiotes here, Venom and Scream, getting them up as high as you can, possibly to 14, and they'll work solidly as well for other game modes, for raids, for Alliance War even too. Recommend getting them up with the extra gear that you're going to have from your second run. However, also keep keep Black Order in mind when you clear Dark Dimension 3 for the second time. You're going to want to build the rest of these up, so Corvus Glaive, Cull, and Proxima. So make sure that you work on these with the extra gear that you have for the orange gear that you'll get from these rewards from Dark Dimension for Gear 13+. Other than that, I think this is a really solid roster. I think that you've done all the right things with all the right characters geared up to where you need to. I don't know if you personally need a lot of help from me, so hopefully some of the character recommendations that I pointed out, especially around the bottom, helps for you. But yeah, this is quite impressive, to be honest, given the amount of time that's been put into this roster. Looks like you've kind of ticked all the right boxes for all the major meta reasons, particularly for Dark Dimension, which was probably a heavy goal of yours considering you've cleared Dark Dimension 3 for the first time. So yeah, I don't know how much more help I can give here, but hopefully some of that maybe did a little bit here. So that's the end of this roster review here, guys. And of course, you know, if you guys want any of your own roster reviews, feel free to hit me up via Discord. That is the best way to get a hold of me, where I'm always available. I wouldn't say 24/7, but I am on my computer quite a bit. So if you want to get a hold of me there at all and want to talk about possibly getting a roster review or what I can do to suggest things for you for your game, then feel free to hit me up there. So thanks everyone for watching this roster review, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all later. Boylon signing out.